certified professional dog trainer and certified behavior consultant. And I'm excited to be here to answer all of your training questions. If this is your first time joining us, just in the chat, put your name and where you're from. So like state or country. And that will enter you into the drawing. And I'm going to look for something to prop my computer up a little bit, because it kind of helps with the light. So, little disclaimer. Hey, Facebook user. It just comes through as Facebook user. So, if you want to enter the drawing, I need a name and where you're from. So disclaimer, I have 2 board and trained puppies with me right now. And so it's a little chaotic and they're playing, and my neighbor is mowing the lawn, so they may bark. So I will try to keep it as quiet as possible, but hey, we are all dog lovers, right? So yeah, it's always a little chaotic when I have puppies here. So anyway, hey Anita. Jay, gentle. And you may hear me supervising their play. I have them locked in the house right now, just so they can't go outside and bark at my neighbor mowing the lawn. It's a game with them. Hey, Jupiter, play it, okay? Good boy. So tonight you'll see environmental management at its best or worst, however this goes. Keeping the dogs in so they can't practice barking at the neighbor mowing the lawn, and me trying to keep them somewhat quiet so that I can focus on you guys. So I usually will pick a topic something to talk about while, hey Brian, while people are jumping on. I'm going to put Brian and then Renee. Okay. How's everybody doing this week? So, hello, Della. Put Della. Wow, we have 3 people so far from Illinois. Illinois must be booming dog lover training community. So last, can't even imagine what it's like in Florida, Anita, because it is hot here. I'll go out with the dogs for like 10 minutes, and then I got to come in with the ceiling fan. And I don't have air conditioning because I live up in the mountains, so I don't really need it. And it's actually cooler in my house than outside. But I bake, and then I have to come in and have the ceiling fans on. But I'm one of those people that kind of likes winter. I like cold over hot. So it's pretty brutal. But anyway, Nicole, been home sick the last couple days. Oh, yeah. Yeah. So, Nicole, I'm sorry you're sick. When I had COVID, I was home for 3.5 weeks. And my dogs loved it, but then I think they got tired of it because I couldn't do anything. I couldn't play with them. I could barely get up and feed them, and then I had to lay back down because I was like totally out of breath. So, yeah, the dogs love it. That's with gas prices, which are so awesome right now. I've started doing more board and train here and having clients come to my house just so I don't have to drive as much, because it is outrageous, and I've had to charge more if I go to people's houses. So yeah, my dogs like having me here. And then they also get to earn their keep by playing with and entertaining puppies when they're here. Um, so, yeah, sometimes it's a little chaotic, like right now. Can you guys hear the lawnmower? Can you hear my neighbor mowing when he goes through the front door? Because if you can hear it, I can close the front door. I just have it open for the breeze and then the ceiling fan. So, um, anyway, I just spent the last 2 days at Pupford working on some projects for them, and I have to tell you guys, they are so cool, and they have the best customer service. So I've had two other occasions with two unrelated, totally different customer or companies, and the customer service was so bad and so frustrating that it makes me like never want to deal with people again. That's how bad it was. But then I go with Pupford, and they're so nice and accommodating. Their customer service is awesome. Because I'm a customer just like you guys are. I do some extra stuff for them. But hey, Louie, please don't hump Jupiter. Thank you. Good boy. This will be a good training session because you guys can kind of hear how I manage puppies that hump. I have one puppy that is constantly trying to hump the other one. One of the dogs here is actually not a puppy. He's like 16 months old. But I did have him when he was a puppy. So that's why I told them that, yeah, I would do another board and train for them. Usually I only do like younger pups. But actually the young doodle is the one trying to hump everybody. So, um, so anyway, I just wanted to do a shout out for Pupford because they're so awesome to work with and so nice, and their customer service is spectacular. And I wish I could tell other people to like check out their customer service, and your customer service needs to be better because it's really frustrating when it's not. So anyway, okay, so what questions do you have? Um, while you're thinking of your questions, I'll tell you kind of one, if you have a multi-dog household, which I know some of you do, this is how I do meal times. Because right now I have 5 dogs here on 3 different foods. So the 2 guest dogs are crated while I feed my 3. And then I bring one puppy into the kitchen, which has a baby gate, and feed him. Um, and then if he doesn't eat, I pick it up. He gets 15 minutes to eat. If he starts barking at the gate because he wants out, or he doesn't eat, then I pick it up. And then the other puppy comes in and gets a chance. So it's a process, and it can take a little bit of time to feed in the morning, but that way I don't have dogs running to each other's bowls trying to eat food that's not theirs, and having growly dogs trying to get at each other's food. So yep, that's how we do it. We also have a schedule where first thing in the morning we go potty, we come in, we do the feeding schedule. Then they get to go out and play for a little bit since they're most active in the morning. Then we do a 20-minute training session with each of the guest dogs. And then by that time, it's usually like crate nap time, so I can return emails. And then we do another training session, and then we do enrichment, then we do walks, and then we do dinner. So it's a busy day. But some of the dogs that I have that come here, they don't, it's kind of like a free for all at their house. And despite me telling people you've got to get your dog on a structure and predictability, but it's like a free for all. So then when they come here, it takes a few days for them to settle in and get used to, like, you're not going to have like free feeding here, and you've got to eat when it's given to you, or you don't get it till dinner. So that kind of stuff. Della, I would like to know what you think about a Rottweiler as a service dog. Would deter attackers for sure, and the VA would be providing the already trained dog. I think it's awesome. I've had two pit bull service dogs, mobility dogs, and they've been amazing. And now I'm training my third pit bull. I mean, Jade's a pit mix. She's a smaller pit bull, but she's still a pit bull. And so yeah, I did have an issue at the airport once. We had hey, please don't jump him or hump him. Stop. We had pre-checked in, everything. And so we walked in, and the guy told me that I had to go check in. And I'm like, no, we're already checked in. And he says, well, you have to because you have a dog. And they gave me such a hassle that they made us miss our flight. And then we had like a 9-hour layover to wait for the next flight because they made us miss it. And I know it was just because I had a pit bull. So just know that you might not have the easiest time getting into places. There's only one restaurant that has asked me for my doctor's note, which legally I don't think they can do that, but I just showed it to them and then they were fine. But yeah, for sure it would deter attackers. And if the VA is going to provide one that's already trained, that's even better. That's awesome. But yeah, I've known some amazing Rottweilers, but since I have pit bulls, I pretty much like all of the, the bully type breeds. So yeah, I used to take care of, hey, Victoria, you'll have to remind me where you're from because I don't remember. Hey, Kirsten. What did it? Oh, there it is. I used to take care of some Rottweilers that were actually guard dogs for some people that used to be somewhat famous. They're really not anymore. So, but yeah, these were guard dogs, and I would just go feed them, sometimes, and walk them when the caretakers and stuff weren't around. And they were awesome. I loved those dogs. Okay, let's see. Okay, Kirsten, I have where you're from. Oh, yeah, South Dakota. Deaf lady with a black lab rescue. How do you listen to the live Q&As? Or are you just a really good lip reader? Okay, let me put South Dakota. I have actually always wanted to learn sign language. Oh, I'm captioned. Awesome. Okay. I've actually always wanted to learn sign language. And when I was in elementary school, hey, you guys, play easy. Oh, good shake off. Good shake off. When I was in grade school, they had like a hearing impaired immersion group. So they had a group of kids that were deaf. And so I learned a lot of sign language from them. But that was elementary school. And then I forgot it all. So anyway, oh, that's cool that it's captioned. Renee, what should we look for in a boarding facility? Peyton's almost 2 and will finally feel safe to go on vacation. Louie, stop humping him. Oh, come here. Hang on. Sorry. Louie, you're going to go in timeout. Stop. So that is a great question. If it's just a boarding facility, a lot of boarding facilities now have a dual like boarding daycare type of thing. So if it's one of those, I would look to see what the dog to human ratio is. So these guys are just playing, so you're good. So if you have like 30 dogs and one human, that's too many. You want a ratio of like 8 to 10 dogs for one person. So if they have 30 dogs, they should have like 3 to 4 staff out there supervising. So I would look at that. If it's just a boarding with no daycare, I would ask them like, how many times do they get out? Do they get any yard time or play time? Are they like, I wouldn't want my dog stuck in a kennel all day. I would want them to be able to be in a yard and play, get walks, get exercise, things like that. So yeah, those are some things that you could look at. There's a day boarding place here that I love. Hey, Andrea. I love, even though I never go on vacation. And if I do, it's usually camping and I take my dogs with me. Oh, we have 2 from Florida now. Hey, Louie. Plus, this dog doesn't listen. Like, he doesn't even know his name. And he's been all the way through puppy class and a private, and he still doesn't know his name. So I don't know that they really have worked with him. So there's a boarding facility here, and the dogs actually don't go in kennels unless they're like bullying another dog or they're naughty. They stay. So one of the owners like lives at the facility, and she has like an apartment and stuff, but the whole place is set up with dog beds. And so all the dogs get to like actually live with her. She has dog beds all around her bed. Some of them sleep on the bed with her. So if they're boarding a dog that's not good with other dogs, then that dog would probably have to be crated. But otherwise, the dogs, it's just like going to Aunt Betsy's house and, getting to have a fun sleepover. And then during the day, they get to go out and play with the daycare dogs. So they get to play all day. And then at night, they just like stay with Tori. So if I ever had to leave my dogs, I would definitely take them there because I love that setup. So that's another thing that I would look for. Okay, Victoria. Tex is real reactive. Went to a trainer who booted him out for being disruptive. We then did one-on-one with her, and after 8 weeks suggested behavioral euthanasia. Nope. Have been on my own, used a front clip harness, gentle leader. He pulled me to the ground. Martingale. Second trip to the floor. Not sure what to do. Other trainers here are all board and trained for hunting dogs. Oh my gosh. That's tough. So what do you mean by being disruptive? I mean, some dogs are disruptive just because they bark at other dogs, but it's because they want to play. So when you say being disruptive, tell me what that looks like. Also, what breed is Tex and how old? So, and is Tex like aggressive? Like, what does he do when he gets to another dog or another person? Is he aggressive towards people, or is he aggressive towards dogs or other animals? Because there's a lot that goes into it. We could do a like a Zoom. We could do like a Zoom consult where, but and depending what kind of trainer you worked with privately, they may have done exactly the same thing that I would tell you to do. So yeah, give me a little bit more information. Oh yes, Andrea, that's a good one. Make sure to ask to tour the boarding facility. Yeah, because I've been in some scary ones where I'm like, oh my gosh, I do not want to leave my dogs here. Andrea, any tips when moving to a new home? Yes. So I have a client now that has a dog that is really reactive and pretty shy. So they just moved to a new house. The main thing is you almost have to start over with potty training, because this is a new place for your dog. So they're not going to automatically know which door to go through to go potty, things like that. So I would start with potty training and then start with a structure. Get the dog on a structure, predictability, so that it's like, yep, we're in a new place. This is where you sleep, whether it's on the floor or in bed with you. This is where you're going to eat. This is where we're going to go potty, and just set it up like that so that your dog can like learn to predict what's going to happen. And I think it should be fairly easy. I mean, if you think about the rescue, like all my dogs are rescues, and some of them have come from other homes and some have come from a shelter or a rescue. And it took about 3 days for them to kind of like settle in, learn where the door is to go potty, like things like that. So dogs are pretty adaptive, and so I think it'll be fine if you're moving and taking a dog to a new place. It just takes a little bit for them. Like I'd let them walk around. I would do it on leash just so there's no like marking territory, but just take them around on the leash, let them check stuff out. Again, teach them which dog. Hey, Louie. Good boy, Jupiter. Let them know which like door you want to go out and stuff like that. And it should be pretty good. So, Victoria, he barked at other dogs, wanted to play. He was less than a year old. Then now he's 17 months. Wow, I can't believe they want to do, if he's just barking at other dogs because he wants to play, is that still the case? Does he still just want to play? Because what I'll do is I'll usually just, if a dog is barking, I'll turn and go the other way, and I'll teach a good like sit and wait, and then when the dog waits, then they get to go see or play with the other dog. So it's just a matter of teaching impulse control, which is like, wait and stay and stuff like that. But, at 17 months, that's only a year and a half. And plus, the dog is an adolescent right now. So, yeah, they tend to kind of push the limits and see what they can get away with, and, not listen. So, yeah, unless there's a lot more going on, like unless he's actually trying to bite other dogs or humans, I wouldn't think that a behavioral euthanasia would be warranted at all. Okay. I have a standard poodle, 7 months, who comes to me most of the time. However, he frustrates my husband because he doesn't come to my husband most of the time. How do I show my husband how to get him to come without there being frustration? So that's a great question. Dogs don't do a real good job of generalizing, which means that when we train any behavior, we want to work on like different people and different locations. So just because my dog will come to me doesn't mean she's going to go to somebody else. So your husband would have to train from the very beginning, and I would do it on leash. So whenever I take Jade to like a new area that she hasn't been before, I will always start on leash and do some recalls, and make sure she's really coming proficiently before I let her off leash. And I would do the same thing with your husband. So he should start from like step 1, do it on leash, be super exciting. Sometimes some men have a harder time acting goofy and being enthusiastic, but the trick to recall is to be more exciting than anything in your dog's environment. So I'll like go, let's go, let's go, let's go. And I'll like wave my hands and, pat my thighs or whatever. And get him to come that way. So yeah, the more that your husband can do that, and I would have him start on a 6-foot leash and, recall, reel him in, treat, and then say, okay, go play. And then when your dog's really good at coming on a 6-foot leash, then do a 15-foot leash, and then do a 30-foot leash, drag a leash, and go through the same steps that you're going through. And when you say that your dog comes most of the time, if there are times when he doesn't come, if he's not coming 100% of the time, then I wouldn't use the C word. So I wouldn't say come if you're not 100% sure that your dog's going to do it. Because you say, like, Rover, come, and the dog doesn't do it and gets reinforced, if you think about it, they're probably like running around. Sorry, I have a stiff neck. They're probably like running around, sniffing and doing their own thing. So they're actually getting reinforced for ignoring you. So if my dog is off leash, I will whistle, I'll clap my hands, say, over here, let's go. If I do have treats with me, sometimes I'll just yell treats, and they come running when they think they're going to get treats, which they do. If they come, they do get treats. So I would make sure that you're not using that cue unless you're 100% sure your dog's going to come. Otherwise, I would continue to practice it on leash, and then Louie, and then sorry, he keeps distracting me because he's humping. He keeps humping this other dog. I'm going to put you in a crate in a second. So I would have your husband start over with a 6-foot leash and start with step 1 and make it super fun. So that's what I would do. Does Willie look when you talk to Lily? No, this is Louie. Louie is a boy, but Willie is so obsessed with his ball right now that he can entertain himself all day. And he's actually outside. He's the only one that's outside because he doesn't bark at the lawnmower. And he keeps himself entertained all day long chasing a ball around. He's like obsessed with a ball. He'll like, he gets it in between his paws, and it's almost like he's a soccer player, and he moves it between his legs. And then when he gets into a corner, he'll sit and work and work and work until he gets it out of the corner, and then he'll play again. So, yeah, it's crazy. But yeah, even when he's been in the house, he's usually so fixated on a toy that he doesn't even listen. But yeah, usually, I mean, if I say his name, like, hey, Willie, he'll look, but this one's Louie. So I do try to, and sometimes I just call him Lou. I mean, he doesn't listen anyway. So we got to work tomorrow. We got to work on the name game a lot. Oh my gosh, they're both laying down, you guys. They are both laying, all right now, all the dogs are laying down, chilling. It's so awesome. Um, yes, he gets frustrated at the leash. Yeah, I agree with Nicole. Like maybe before going on walks with a leash, use a flirt pole. Flirt poles are great for wearing dogs out. So use a flirt pole, play fetch. Make sure you're doing nose work, like a snuffle mat. The the ball that Willie has is one of those that has the holes in it. And so with him, I don't even have to put food in it because he'll just obsessively roll it anyway. But you can put your dog's food in it and then have your dog work for food. Um, so get that nose going, which engages the brain, tires them out. And then, yeah, I would try to do something like a flirt pole or, yeah, I'm trying to think of what else you could do. Flirt poles are awesome. But yeah, fetch or frisbee or something like that to tire your dog out first. Um, let's see. I've been trying to teach him to come and touch and to use that to break his frustration and give him some success. Yeah, that's awesome. Like if he's frustrated at the end of the leash, even if you say like let's go and turn, so if this is my dog that's frustrated on leash, I'll just say let's go and I'll turn and move the other way. So if the dog is at the end of the leash barking, pulling, wanting to go see another dog, then that moves them away from the dog. And then I'll turn around and ask for like a sit and a wait. And if the dog is calm, then we move closer. If the dog's not calm, we continue to turn around, and move farther away. Um, then you could do like the look at that or the engage disengage, where you teach the dog just to look at something and stay calm and then reward. And then you can slowly move forward. If your dog is like pulling, lunging, can't take treats, can't focus, then the dog's over threshold. So you're going to want to move farther away anyway, because no learning is taking place right then. So I would just say, let's go and turn and go the other way. Brian. Hello, Brian. Let me put you down. Oh, you guys are being so good. Good job, guys. If you just joined, I have 2 board and train puppies here right now. So it's been chaos, but right now they're all laying down being good. Let's see, Facebook user. That is exactly what it is. He just stands there calling him. Yep. I did start having him call puppy, puppy, puppy because he can sound. Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah, that's exactly what I would do. The only other thing I would add is a leash. So put a leash on, and that way, if the dog doesn't come, then you can like reel them in, not yank them, but I reel them in, and as I reel them in, it's like, oh, good job, let's go, and then just make it super fun and exciting the whole time they're coming in, and then reward. And then once I reward, I say, okay, go play again. So to the dog, it's like, wow, I come, I check in, I get a treat, and then I get to go play again. Victoria, he's stellar. until he sees another dog, and I haven't yet found an area far enough away that he doesn't ramp from 0 to 300. So if he's that reactive around another dog, you may want to talk to your vet about anti-anxiety meds, because I'm turning off my phone. Because if he gets that like anxious and that ramped up when he sees another dog, that just means like he doesn't have any impulse control, and he may need some doggy medication to help him calm down so that you can teach him impulse control and get him used to like waiting for what he wants. Does that make sense? Because right now he's kind of acting like that teenager that wants it and wants it right now. And we can't give it to him. We have to make sure that it's like, oh, I'm so sorry, but when you act like that, you don't get to go see the other dog. But if you can wait and be calm, then we can go see them. Have you tried to see if there are any reactive dog courses around where you live? Because I teach a reactive dog class for exactly that kind of dog, and I space people out, and we have a car as a barrier. So there's a car, a dog, a car, a dog. So they don't even get to see each other until it's and it's really controlled, and very like slow exposures to other dogs. The other thing you could do is go to a parking lot, like a huge parking lot, like a Home Depot or a Petco or a PetSmart, and park as far away as you can. And then every time your dog sees another dog, you're going to reward for calmness. So if the dog's barking, whining, getting antsy, then you're too close and you need to go even farther away. But yeah, I might talk to your vet about some anti-anxiety meds if he goes from like 0 to 300 immediately. Oh, good. Yeah, so that's perfect. If you have the lead on him always outside, that's perfect. That's what I do. So when I take my dogs for a walk, or especially a hike, I will have them on a long line, so they still get to explore and sniff and have fun. But then if I need them to come, I can make sure that they come by reeling them in. Victoria, I love watching dogs play with balls better than TV. Yeah, and you should see Willie. I mean, I've never had, well, my search and rescue dog was he had a high prey drive, so he liked to play with Kongs. But you should see Willie chase his ball around. I mean, I have never seen a dog so OCD about his ball, and he can just entertain. He's the easiest dog ever because he can just entertain himself all day with his ball. And then he sleeps all night because he's exhausted. He's really easy. Yeah, so if you're already using a snuffle mat, flirt pole, and if you can't find a distance where he doesn't, then I think he needs medication. And you may even need to work with a veterinary behaviorist, which is way, way up the line from like trainers, behavior consultants. That's like a veterinarian that just deals with behavior and knows all about medications to specifically deal with that behavior. So it sounds like this is more than just a training issue, and you're going to need some extra help, like professionals, medication. I like animal behavior. Oh crap! What are they called? Animal behavior consultants. They are out of. I'm gonna look it up really quick just to make sure I'm giving you the right name. They're from Oregon. They're out of Oregon, but they do all virtual unless you live in Oregon. Um, Okay, let me look up a different name because that one did not come up. Um, I want to make sure I give you the right one. Animal Behavior Clinic. And Dr. Chris Pockle is awesome, but he speaks a lot now. Like he travels a lot and speaks, but he's got other veterinary behaviorists working under him. They do have quite a wait list, like 3 to 4 months. So I would get on their list now. However, if you want them to like speak with your vet about what the right medication for your dog would be, they can usually do that much quicker, like within a week, I was told. Um, it's there is a fee for that, and so like they would charge your vet X number of dollars for like a 30-minute consult, and then your vet would pass that fee on to you. I don't know how much it is. But then at least you can start medication now while you're on the waiting list to get in to see them, because it is quite a wait. But yeah, it definitely sounds like your dog's going to need more help. Kirsten, Oliver, my Catahoula mix is still challenging in public towards dogs and other people. Is this a hula trait or just him? I take him to a store where dogs are allowed to desensitize him. It doesn't seem to be working. I mean, I've seen some Catahoulas that are awesome with other dogs, and I've seen just as many that aren't. So there's so many things that can go into it. It could be a genetic, like his specific genetics. It could be, did you get him as a puppy or is he a rescue? Because there's a lot of things that could go into it. When you take him into a store, sometimes that can be too overstimulating. So I usually wait a while before I take a dog into like Home Depot, and I don't take reactive dogs into Petco to practice, just because there's a chance of too many dogs being there. And at least our Petcos are kind of small and the aisles are small, so you don't really have that distance. But if you go to a store that your dog hasn't been to before, and let's say, I'll just use an example, like Home Depot. They have the forklifts, they have sounds, they have ceiling fans going. There's a lot going on. And then you have other people, other dogs. So it may be harder for Oliver to like pay attention there. So I actually like to go to a park, or like I was telling Victoria, a Home Depot or a Petco, but stay in the parking lot and move way far away, and just practicing having your dog notice other dogs, click and treat. So if your dog can just look at another dog and remain calm, click, treat. And then you can slowly decrease that distance. And after, like, it could be months before your dog can get close enough to then maybe go inside. And at the same time, I would be working on, a really good auto check-in, like teaching your dog how to check in. A relaxation protocol would be great, like teaching your dog how to be calm with increasing distractions. So all of those kinds of things. So, and other people. Yeah. I mean, you do the same thing, whether it's dogs or other people. So, Kirsten, what I would do is get on IAABC or CCPDT, and you can put in your zip code and look for a certified behavior consultant in your area. I would be careful about just Googling, because some people will call themselves behavior specialist or even a behaviorist when they're really not. So you want somebody that's certified, or somebody through Karen Pryor Academy would be great. I'll type in and then, so you can get on these and put in like your zip code, and all of the trainers and behavior consultants will come up. So for that, you may have to work with someone that's a professional. If you don't have anybody in your area, like, I could work with you virtually and show you videos on what to do, and then just have you start working through stuff on your own. And then, I mean, a lot of trainers now are only doing virtual stuff. So I know a friend of mine does only virtual, and then, like, you would send her videos and, kind of work through it that way. So, yeah, he's a rescue. He's been passed around, and you're his third person. Yeah, that makes sense. So it definitely could be genetics. It could be learning history. It could be something traumatic that happened during his, I don't know why that all of a sudden went dark. Something that happened during his fear period. So there's a lot of different reasons. It's a farm supply store that's not super busy. Yeah, so you could start there, and then if you see another dog, just stop. So stop, and, like, as soon as Oliver looks at another dog, if he reacts, then just say, "Oh, let's go," and turn and go the other way. Because if he reacts, he's not in a space of learning right there. He can't learn. If he can look, then you're going to click and treat. And I do use the clicker for this because it helps the dog learn to disengage. Because it's like, oh, I heard the clicker. I have a treat coming. So I would do that. And then if he's still having issues, I would maybe recommend going to your vet for anti-anxiety medication as well. Most reactivity and aggression stems from fear and anxiety. So if you can use medication to help with that, it's going to help your dog a lot. It's just kind of like humans, Humans might go to counseling. They might, get on some anti-anxiety medication. And then when you do training and medication together, it works fabulous. If you try just medication, it's not going to do anything. It's not going to help. And if you just do training by itself and the dog's always in a high state of arousal, then the dog can't learn. So if you go to a place and your dog is always like, oh my gosh, I'm in public, I might see a dog, what am I going to do? And your dog's already getting amped up before anything happens. So that's where I would probably recommend some medication as well. Any idea how to teach a dog to stop jumping and begging while eating food? Um, yes, because I have 3 dogs that do that, but it's my own fault because I feed them from my plate. Um, so what I do is, if I'm trying to eat and I don't want to share, I will teach a dog a downstay. So while I'm getting food ready, which for me is getting a bowl of cereal or a sandwich, because I don't really cook a whole lot. So when I got Jade, she was a terrible counter surfer. So what I would do is I did teach her an off, but then as soon as we'd go in the kitchen, I'd put her in a sit stay or a down stay. And then I would get the food ready. And in the beginning, she did break. Like, she would break her stay, and I'd say, oh, let's try again. And I'd put her back in a sit stay. And then when I was done getting the food ready, I would reward her. Now, if you never feed your dog, if you don't want your dog to beg, it's really important that you never, ever feed your dog while you're eating. Because even if you intermittently, once in a great while, feed them from your plate, that reinforces it, and it's like a slot machine. It's like, oh, I'm going to keep trying because eventually I'm going to win. So if you never feed your dog from your plate or from the table, eventually he'll stop begging because he never gets reinforced for it, or never gets rewarded, or never gets food. If you have a puppy or even an older dog, you can like crate your dog while you're eating. So like while you're preparing food and eating, put your dog in a crate with something really fun to do, like a puzzle toy, a frozen Kong, a bully stick. The Pupford turbo tendons work amazing for that. And give your dog something to do while you're preparing food and you're eating. That way they have their own thing to do, and then they're not begging. So I would do that at first, and then start working on a good sit, stay, down, stay. And then eventually, like, you can give your dog that same yummy thing to do on a mat or at your feet while you're eating. So they get their special treat while you're eating dinner, and then they'll stop begging. But yeah, it's really important that you never reinforce it. Kirsten, he's definitely afraid. He's not acting aggressively, just fear barking. Yeah, then I would maybe do, which is most dogs. If you can find a good, like, they call them different things, a feisty Fido class, or reactive rover, or reactive dog class. I did one for Pupford, so there's actually a video that you can get that goes through all of the steps that, like, I would do with you privately. However, I'm going to be redoing that course because the more I learn, I'm just going to make it better. So, but I'm sure that once you purchase it, then you'll have access to it even after I redo it. But if somebody in your area is doing one, then that would be better to even be able to go and do it live. Nicole, I think I taught Wilma to beg when I eat. I didn't feed her from my plate, but I gave treats while I was eating. Yeah. So they don't know the difference between well, they might if we feed them human food. But yeah, you want to give them something to do away from what you're doing. So in a crate, on a bed, but give them their own thing to do that they can chew on, but you're not like giving them something that looks like you're giving it to them from your plate. Okay. I think, oh, Joan from Virginia. I got to write you down. Joan, what part of Virginia are you from? My brother lives in Virginia. I'm just going through to see if I've missed anything. Oh. I just want to make sure I didn't skip anybody. Oh, Karen. Hi, Karen. Glad I caught you. I'm going to add you. Massachusetts. Okay. Victoria, the very highest value currency for Tex is a ball. Can I use that on a walk? Yes. If he can look at another dog and remain calm, then toss a ball in his mouth and let him play with a ball. So, because what you're rewarding, you're not rewarding the freak out. Well, so if he's freaking out, you're going to turn and go the other way. But if he can just look at a dog and not freak out, then you can give him a ball. And I would actually, what I would do is I would have him look at the dog and then click. So you're marking that he's just looking at the dog and not reacting. So click and then run the other way with the ball and let him chase the ball and reward the ball, but don't go further towards the dog, go away from the dog. So that's what I would do. But yeah, if he loves a ball, by all means use that. And if it helps him, teach him to carry a ball in his mouth while you're going on a walk, because if he can then focus on the ball and the fact that he has a ball, like I wish Willie was in here right now. I had today 4 dogs out in the yard, and Willie could care less because he had his ball. So they were barking and running and playing in the pool, and all Willie was doing was chasing his ball around. He did not even care about the other dogs. So if Tex really loves the ball, I would use that and play some games with him, like on the walk. Make something like a flirt pole, or see if you can somehow attach a kind of a ball on the end of the flirt pole and have him, use that on your walks to kind of distract him, redirect him. But yeah, you can absolutely use that. I'm glad I went back because I missed Karen and I missed that part of your answer. And I just wrote Joan down. Okay. My puppy begged when we had pizza right after we got him. I told everyone to ignore him, and he realized he wasn't going to get anything and dramatically threw himself down inside like that was going to work. He was totally ignored. He has not begged since. We laughed after he threw himself down. That's awesome. Yeah, so once they know that it's not going to work and they're not going to get reinforced, then They don't beg. It would be like, at this point, it would be hard for me to teach my dogs not to beg, because I let them do it. But I live alone. It doesn't bother me. I even sometimes feed my dog off my fork. Um, and so, yeah. Then all of a sudden saying, oh, I don't want you to beg anymore, when it's been reinforced for so many years. I mean, I did it to myself. So, but yeah, if you just never reinforce it, then I have some clients who say, like, we never ever give our dogs food from the counter or food from the table. And that's perfect. If you don't want a dog to beg, that's exactly what you want to do. Oh, Halifax. I am not sure. So my brother did live in Sterling. And then he just bought a new house within the past year. And I don't know if he's still in. I think he's still in Sterling. All I know is I don't go visit him in the summer because it's too hot and humid. Nicole, I have a ball on a rope. It makes it easier for when walking. Yep. So let me see if I can remove this. Okay, I just blocked that user. Let me see if I can. I don't know if I can. Oh, I actually did remove them. Cool. Okay, we'll do a drawing in just a second. Yeah, so if you have a ball, I would have him carry it. Absolutely. Hubby is using paracord to make a handle that will wrap around the ball. Yeah. Phil, do you remember Dr. Fraser Crane? Yes, I do, from that show. I can't remember the name of the show now, but okay, so let's do a drawing. Let me get my thing. Jade's and there's too many dogs right here. So tonight's winner is Renee. Renee, I call you Renee Chaz because I don't know how to say your last name. So Renee is our winner tonight. And Renee, you're going to email hello@pupford.com. Let them know what kind of training treats you want, and they will send them out. So, oh, Cheers. Yeah, Cheers was the one I was thinking of. I never watched Frasier, but yeah, Cheers. Okay. Well, everybody, thanks for. Oh, how does this person keep getting on if I keep blocking him? So thanks everybody for joining, and I will see you next week. I'll post Monday or Tuesday as to the day and time. It'll probably be a Wednesday night or Thursday night. And everybody have a great weekend, and have a great 4th. It's 4th of July. So keep your pets safe. Get your Thunder shirts out if that works, and have a good and safe 4th of July. And I'll see you guys next week.